As we look at now, where people are making resolutions, yesterday I talked about some things that you can do, and today I want to talk about something else. That you want to live like a warrior and die a legend. What do you mean by that? Well, one of the first qualities of a warrior is courage. You want to live your life from now on with courage. That most people take their talents, abilities, and skills to the grave with them because of lack of courage. And courage is not the lack of fear. Courage is the willingness to do what it is you need to do, what you are called to do, in spite of the fear. You don't want to live a fear-driven life because you're depriving yourself, your family, and the world that you came here to do something. That's why we're told constantly in the book of life, be of good courage. Because there's stuff that's going to happen that requires that you have courage, that you stand up inside yourself and face it and handle it. Most people in a fearful situation, they forget everything and run, but there are few that in a fearful situation, they face everything and rise with courage. And that's who you are. That's why you're listening to me now, because there's something you want to do. And when you're going outside of your comfort zone, it takes courage. Most people, the majority of people, die within their comfort zone. They're not risk takers. They go through life trying to play it safe. Let me share something with you. There's no safe position in life. If we don't know anything else, if we have not learned anything else from the coronavirus, there's no safe position in life. You can't get out of life alive. You got to die to leave here. And so this is a time that you want to live your life full and do the things that you think about. Sure, you want to keep social distancing from people and from particularly toxic, negative, energy draining people. You want to keep social distance from them. Why? Because people rub off on you. But you're here to do the greater work. You're here to do something. You've got to live life like you mean it. When I decided to speak, I went at it hard because I didn't want to be just a speaker. I wanted to be a speaker that stood out, that made a national and global impact. And you can do that too. That's why you're listening to me. You have some talent, you have some knowledge, you have some experiences, you've seen some stuff. And there's some things in you don't want to take to your grave with you. So when you live like a warrior, you live courageously, you're fearless. Here's something else. When you live like a warrior, you honor your commitment. Commitment is major. See, when you decide that you're going to do something, when you commit yourself to live a life that's different than the life that you lived in 2020, you hold yourself to a higher standard. You're seeking something. You're pushing the envelope. You are challenging yourself. You are willing to walk by faith and not by sight. And you know, as a warrior, that there's a dramatic difference between being a warrior and being a worrier. Anybody can worry, and a lot of people are worried right now. Oh, the new virus coming, and it's even more lethal and spreads easier. Okay, got that. All right. And you got to eat. You got to pay the rent, got to pay the mortgage, you got to pay the car note. I learned a long time ago the best way to get back on your feet is to miss 3 car payments. Come on. Yeah, but you don't want to be reckless. You don't want to die for a job. No. If somebody asks you, hey, sign here. In the event you get sick, you go on sewer. Do I look like Mr. Kadumbo? No. Create something else. Life is saying no. Don't put your life on the line saying, oh, I got to eat. I can either starve to death or I sign this and risk dying and leaving my family so they can starve without me. No. You can create something else. You have other options. Don't be limited in your thinking. I did that for years. For years. Because I knew radio. I did it extremely well. And when I was fired, I was dumbfounded. What am I going to do now? Guess what? Learn something new. That's what. If you're willing to learn. See, most people aren't willing to learn. That's why I say, well, if I don't sign this agreement, my family will die. They'll just starve to death. Are you kidding me? Come on now. No. Don't sign anything that says that if you get sick, they're not liable, because they know that there's a high risk that you might get sick, and they want you to be on your own. If you don't learn anything else, remember the name Herman Cain, who was sitting on the front row at a rally, proud, no mask. He got back to Atlanta, he had to go to the hospital. He said, no big deal. And now he's out of here 5 days later. They don't even mention his name. You talk about proud and involved on radio every day promoting the right. They don't mention his name as if he did not exist. Come on. Come on. This life is challenging us. In life, when you don't have enough courage or insight, intelligence, expanded vision, that you have outgrown a situation and it's time to move on, life moves on you. I'd outgrown radio. And now I can come on anytime I want and you can see me too. So you got to put your foot down. You got to get an attitude. Because, see, we're all basically the same. We're all basically the same. The only thing that separates us are our habits. I wanted something different for myself. I wanted something different for my mother. I did not want my mother working once I turned 18. So I made a commitment that I was going to generate enough money with my voice, with my story, in radio and then in speaking, to take care of my mother. You've got some talent. You've got something in you. There's a reason that God chose you out of 400 million sperm. You think you're just here to work on a job, pay the bills, keep a roof over your head, a car note, and then die? Come on, give me a break. No. You're here to do the greater work. You know it's true. You can deny it if you want to. I don't know how low your consciousness is. I know some people, no matter what I say, they're not going to hear me. The state of consciousness they're in, this message is not for everybody. That's why Jesus said, he who has ear, let him hear. Let her hear. And the people that can hear me, if you can hear me in your heart, not in your ear, I'm not challenging you and your hearing aid. No, I'm saying what's in your heart. Where your heart is, there your treasure is also. When you live like a warrior, you are vigilant, you are courageous, you take initiative, you're ambitious, you have an expanded vision of yourself. You're going to take some chances on you. You're going to bet on you. You don't settle for any and everything when you're a warrior. And you got to be in fight mode. You got to be ready to fight. Life is a fight for territory. And once you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will automatically take over. I'm talking to you right now. I have some challenging pain in my body. But I had to fight to rise above that to come in here and talk to you now. I'm not going to let that stop me. I'm supposed to speak. I'm supposed to motivate and inspire people at a time that we need it now more than ever in the history of this country since we've been alive. And so Courage. Work on it. Raise the bar on yourself. Challenge yourself. Decide you're not going to be the same person in 2021 that you were in 2020. And the other thing is, and this is major, consistency. When I decided to be a speaker, I disciplined myself to memorize a minimum of 3 to 5 quotes every day. I didn't have any speaking engagements. The phone was not ringing to, hey, we'd like to book Les Brown. I was preparing myself. I want you, as we, in this second day of 2021, just expect things to be great for you. Expect them to be great because you're going to show up differently. You're going to be consistent. You're going to do the things that you need to do that other people won't do. You want to be a perpetual optimist. Let's get it on. Life, you caught me by surprise in 2020, but that ain't going to happen in 2021. All the euphoria is gone. You've shown yourself. Oh, no. I'm not going to get caught up in the hoopla. No. This is a fight. You've taken something from me. We've been stripped. We've been stripped of personal touch. We've been stripped of spending personal, intimate time with loved ones and family members and friends. We've been stripped of gathering together. We've been stripped of a sense of assurance and faith. You've stripped us. No. And so when we look at this, we have to embrace the newness of this life. The reason I cut my hair, I want to remind myself when I look in the mirror, this is not the Les Brown that was in 2020. No. This is the one that's going to fight like a warrior and die a legend. I want you to have the mindset that you're going to make a greater impact. I want you to have the mindset that you're going to bring your family together. I want you to have the mindset that you're going to work on yourself. I want you to have the mindset that you're going to improve your health. I want you to have the mindset that you're going to create wealth. I want you to have the mindset that you're going to live an expanded vision of yourself and you're going to go all in. All you can do is all you can do, and all you can do is enough. But make sure you do all you can do. A.L. Williams, come on now. You got to get fired up as you do at a football game or a basketball game, or you start doing a little dance in church when they start strumming the organ. Yeah, no. You want to be fired up thinking and being creative. That's how you want to get your shout on. And creating more wealth to protect yourself and to insulate yourself from the ugliness and from the poverty and from the pain that so many people are expressing. This is your time. And it can only be your time when you are willing, as you look in the mirror, when you get up in the morning, Lord, whatever I face today, together, you and I can handle it. All things work together for good, for those who love God and for those who are called according to his purpose. When you get up in the morning and you decide to live a courageous life every day, get up in the morning and you decide to make a commitment to live your greatest life. Get up in the morning in a spirit of gratitude and say, Lord, thank you for bringing me here. Thank you for dragging me into 2021. Thank you for protecting me and those I love. Thank you for the courage to go on, keep it moving, for those that did not make it, for my family members and friends that did not survive. I will live a life that will fill in the blanks for them because I'm here because of your grace and mercy. I don't take it for granted that I'm still here. And as Orrin Hudson would say, the best day of my life. We're here. We're not taking a dirt nap. We're here. There's some people, no big deal. It's a big deal. We're here. Don't look past this. This life is to be lived. Life is for living, for being happy, for being productive. Herein my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit. Much fruit. Not a life of being average or being mediocre. Much fruit. You've been chosen. Are you feeling me here? You've been chosen. You have been chosen for the greater work. And time to step it up. People who operate in darkness, they are relentless. They never stop. They don't take no breaks. They're always doing something. You get up in the morning looking at your phone and say, what happened now? Look at the news and say, oh my goodness, what's next? People who are spreading confusion and darkness and hate, they make it their full-time job to do that. And we have to make it our full-time job to fight back. We have to make it our full-time job. If they run over here, they will limp back. We have to make it our full-time job to fight for a future for our children, to live a life that will outlive us. Sometimes you got to be like Jesus was when he went in there and the disciples were drinking and playing bid whist. What? Y'all about to make me cuss up in there. Get out of here. Come on. Oh yeah. And so many people, it's easy to get relaxed. Once after all the celebration, it's easy to get relaxed. No, there's work to do. See, you've experienced some setbacks. In order, see, when a car's driving, if the back wheels go the same rate as the front wheels, it will never catch up. So in order to catch up with the front wheels, you got to speed up. You can't be average. You got to put the foot to the floor. That's where we are. See, when you have lost your job, I don't know if you've experienced it, but I have. When you get 2 or 3 months behind on your bills, it takes more than 2 or 3 months to catch up. You're looking at somebody, I used to be so broke, I'd walk past the bank and trip the alarm. Oh, behave. Yeah. Yeah, you want to live like a warrior. When a warrior, you in fight mode. You are willing to do whatever it takes for you to discipline yourself, to dedicate yourself, to take the initiative, to embrace the newness of your life. You're God's instrument. When you embrace the newness of your life, new habits, new choices, new behavior, new friends, you set yourself up for miracles. Miracles are things that God does for you, through you, as you, and you know it's not you. And the only thing you can say when those miracles show up, look at God. Come on now. Come on. Yes. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. It's your time. This is your time. And it requires courage. It requires commitment. It requires collaboration with like-minded people, people going in the direction where you are, people who have goals and dreams, People that are positive and motivated and purposeful, have a sense of purpose. People that is a result of your relationship, that it's profitable for both of you. It's win-win. People that you can get together and create something new. I was on what they call that thing called Clubhouse, and I'm creating some new partnerships and meeting some new people on this new platform. Just because I'm 75, you're not going to lead me out. No, I'm not going to be home watching old football games or fights or Netflix. Who's got time to look at television? Viewership should be lower than it's ever been before, because people should be learning things. But don't worry about them. No, don't. That's none of your business. You don't be like, oh, you need to be learning stuff. Shut up. It's none of your business what people do with their lives. And don't listen to them when they tell you, oh, you're just wasting your time. Then you take on their lifestyle. And then you begin to live the life that they're living. And if that works for you, then do it. Now, this road that I'm talking about, the road to life, is straight and narrow. In other words, it's lonely. Everybody won't take that road. It's challenging. Everybody won't take that road. It requires discipline. Everybody won't take that road. It requires perseverance. Everybody won't take that road. It's a mindset. It's not over until I win. You're willing to pay the price.
In Michael's book, he has a book called Average Sucks. And he's a great speaker, and he's a trainer, and he's a coach, and he's really good at many things. And in the book, he talks about food, and I was using this as a metaphor towards real, sincereness versus faking it, right?
Yeah.
And so the way he talks about food is there's food that is addiction, which would be donuts and sugar and fat and just like unhealthy food. The second would be entertainment, which is what most restaurants would be, and then there's nutrition. And I look at people that way too. There's speakers and there's coaches and there's marketers that are, they're not good. I mean,
talkers.
It tastes good, but it's, it's kind of like a shit cake.
May I ask you a question, please?
Yes.
Do you mind?
Go ahead.
Your book is entitled, what's your first name?
Average Sucks, Michael Bernoff.
Michael?
Yeah.
You said average sucks.
Yep, not sex, sucks, yeah. Sometimes people...
I will be praying for you, Michael.
Yeah.
Michael, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
When you go back and look at your life, you're 4 or 5, who's somebody that you admired that really impacted how you see yourself?
How I see myself?
Yes, somebody that you saw, that you admired, that you say, wow, they made you feel safe, made you feel good. And because of their character, because of how they treated you, because of their example, they influence you in becoming the person that you are now. Who's that person?
I've had a ton of them, I would say.
I'm talking about when you're around 5 or 6.
5 or 6 years old?
Yeah, who was the closest person, your reference group?
Literally I was at a family event, and there was a cousin. It was a one-time meeting. It was a cousin. He came in for a funeral and literally just said something to me. He said, you don't have to always listen to everything your parents say. You can be anything that you want to be. And I remember hearing this at a weird age. He's about 8 years older than me. And he said this to me. And I remember those words to this day. I had a couple interactions with this gentleman.
Okay, hold this a minute.
Yep.
Pump your brakes. Now I want you to listen to the difference. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, you can be anything you want to be. Do that right now, please.
That's good. You can be anything you want to be. That's good.
Ladies and gentlemen, I went to a funeral, and they said coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. And I ran into a cousin of mine, and he said that to me. He said, you can be anything that you want to be. I was going through an experience at this time, trying to find my footing in life. How many of you had some moments in your life trying to make sense of and say, what is this all about? You remember those moments when you question yourself? And he affirmed me. And so I want to share with you some things I learned from my cousin. Now,
That's good.
that goes different than average sucks, because you're assuming that I'm average or he's average. We're not. So you blocking a lot of people. But when you say you can be anything you want to be, Maslow said the number one thing that people want is self-actualization. So now you're affirming people, and things I learned from my cousin, you now are in that category. People go online to find out information. How did you get to where you are? And what did you learn from your cousin? You want to create the want to, that they want to know, what did you learn from your cousin? Because you got some secrets that you learned that allowed you to become the person that you are now, to die to who you were, to give birth to who you are now. And you've decided that you can be anything you want to do. His words, when he spoke to you, that went to your heart, and you carried it all these years. He didn't say to you, average sucks. And so the reason I ask you that question, I work with people to get what's in your heart. Average sucks. That's a head thing. You can be anything you want to be. People need to know that in the face of the pandemic, in the face of artificial intelligence, in the face of the statistics that over 350 million people that will be unemployed because of artificial intelligence, you'll say you can be anything you want to be. I'm not saying that there will be 350 million people who will lose their jobs. My cousin taught me that 350 million people didn't lose their jobs. 300 million people have been freed up so they can become entrepreneurs to control their own destiny. It was said by one philosopher that things may happen to you and things may happen around you, but the things that really count are the things that happen in you. You can do anything you want to do. You can create your own economy. This is a new place of accelerated change, overwhelming complexity, and tremendous competition. You've got greatness in you. Greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. My cousin was right, and because of those words, he spoke to me. I redefined myself. Because of what he said to me, my life was never the same again. Because of what my cousin said to me, I decided to become an ambassador in life and encourage people to pursue their dreams rather than live their fears.
Solid. Okay. I like it. And then I think marketing and all market research, that's a whole other conversation. So,
But you see what I did with that?
yeah, I like that.
How many of you?
Yeah.
Now, do you see the difference? Yeah. Raise your hand if you see the difference in what I'm talking about. Yes.
You know,
I got a funny story for you after this.
Well, here's just to bring it up, Andre. Don't go away. So the power of relationships. So how many years ago now was it, Andre, that Michael Burnoff and Cameron Herold and then John Ruhlin said, to you, you need to meet this dude. I happen to be in. So do you know Andre Norman by chance?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a black thing.
What's it? Yeah, it's a black guy. It's trying to bring all the black people together.
But it's something different.
So, I mean, it seems to me, so we're recording this conversation. It seems to me that all these incarcerated individuals that you're in charge of this program to putting, content on 650,000 tablets that are in prisons for people that are incarcerated would be very valuable for them to hear a conversation like this.
1,000%.
Yeah. And because, when you're in a position like that, the thing that incarceration does for most people is they usually don't come out better. They usually come out worse. And they now have they now have an identity of a convict. They have an identity that I fucked up, I'm a loser, whatever. The interesting thing on the stats are there's 2.2 million people incarcerated in the United States. We're the highest incarcerating country in the world. 25% of the world's prisoners are in the United States, and 80 to 90% of everyone arrested or thrown in jail, drugs and alcohol were involved. And 40% of people that are incarcerated committed some sort of violent crime, which is a different discussion. 60% have not. So there's a lot of addicted people that are incarcerated. and putting people into a punitive system, you can't punish pain out of people, is really damaging. And it's not just the incarcerated people, the 2.2 million people. For every person incarcerated, there's a whole family unit and relationships that are attached to that person. So there's there's an opportunity to change that person so that they can get out and become an Andre Norman, because many people do not. And I would have never met Andre if it wasn't for Michael or Cameron or John. So it's a relationship thing. And when I heard his story, I was like, I want to be helpful to this individual. And it was supposed to be for like 5 months. It's now been 5 years.
It's crazy.
And he's saved lives, and we've done a lot of stuff. And here we are with people with skills and talents and abilities, everyone here. And through a mechanism here, he's now in a position where I think by the end of this year, there'll be like 1 million tablets that delivers education and content to people. And that's one of the things he's in charge of. And so, and he's an incredible speaker. If he would have not at some point figured out, I want to go and address people, I want to teach them, you don't have to go down the path I did. It is all through speaking. Just like Joel Weldon. I mean, speaking is the vehicle. It is the mechanism to getting messages and inspiration out to people. And you can make a lot of money doing it. But that conversation you had with my friend Rick is worth a lot. That guy is a multimillionaire. He is rich as hell. It wasn't about money. It was about what it did for his mindset, And so the ability to speak and influence and persuade goes way beyond a business. I mean, it's what you can either, Hitler was a powerful orator. It's what you do with it that makes the difference.
Hitler is doing something we're witnessing now. People who have great presentation skills are able to create an experience. It's one thing to speak and people hear you. It's something else when you speak, people feel you. That's a different dynamic. Yeah. So he was a master communicator. The people that make that transformation, it's like Norman. It was not just the speaking. Norman died. If a man to gain his life, he must lose his life. Norman, who went to prison, he was liberated when he got out, even before they released him, because he got a new identity. Yeah. Once your life has a new identity, people that we work with, the people that are part of our team, the people that we are aligning ourselves with for some social good, once you have a different mindset, that gives your life a sense of purpose. And once your life has a sense of purpose, then that gives your life a sense of direction. So now, Norman is an asset to society rather than a liability. Robert Kennedy said, if we cannot save the many that are poor, we truly cannot save the few that are rich. So when we look at the smash and grabs and all the killings that are taking place, we're watching the throes of a dying beast. Something has happened. And the only way that we can take this on, cultures of violence, cultures of other, when you can put traps together and immigrants, it's one thing to talk about preventing people from coming here, but creating traps in water so they would drown and their children. That's not who we are as a country. Right. We're the greatest country on the planet. And so that the cultures are created by words. And the reason that I'm committed to training people how to communicate and to create peace, I said, I'll give you perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee. Harmony. When we have harmony with ourselves and our spirituality, our family, our relationships, and the purpose of our lives, and joy, stuff's going to be happening. Life would be happening, but when you have a sense of spiritual strength, you are able to handle it. Jesus, he walked on water, but he went out there in a boat. And so you have to have something that when life be lifing, that you can hold on to, that allows you to say, I'm going to be all right. And this is what you're doing now, and the relationships that people are building here. One goose can fly 75% further in formation with other geese than it can ever fly by itself. And so the relationships and the sharing that people have and building relationships, building a new reference group. They did this 85-year study at Harvard University, and they said the people who were successful had a reference group of about 5 to 7 people that they connected with, that they identified with, that they had goals and dreams and held each other accountable. The same things that you're talking about right now. This is extraordinary. This is what the Genius Network is, something that needs to be replicated all across this country and around the world, because politicians won't do it and religious leaders won't do it. They keep us divided by politics and religion and keep us at each other's throats. What you're doing is that you have one agenda, and that agenda is greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. You have the power to create peace. We have the power to turn to each other rather than turn on each other. We have the power to leave a legacy, and for generations yet unborn. That's what the Genius Network is all about.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Gracias.
Not only is it possible and necessary, and it's you to live your dream, to make this greatness that you have within you become a reality, but what I've come to appreciate when you're working on changing your life, changing some bad habit, getting out of addictive situations or relationships, or working to build a dream or making a difference in our society, or learning something that's very challenging. Here's what I realize, ladies and gentlemen, and develop a great deal of respect for. It's hard. Easy is not an option. It's hard living. Life is hard. See, it's hard when you are 49 years old, been working on a job for 17 years, and they come in and tell you you're finished and give you 1 week severance pay. And you got to start all over again. It's hard when you're married and raising children and your children are crawling and your husband dies unexpectedly. It's hard handling just the tragedies of life. It's hard when you're working on something and you put everything you have in it, and it doesn't work out. You lose your money and other people's money. It's hard. It was rough when I lost my job, and I could not find a job. It was humiliating and embarrassing, borrowing money, and then I couldn't pay the money back when I told them I would. That's rough. How people look at you, how they respond to you. It's very hard. It's humiliating. Here's what I discovered that happens to you in life, that you will go through things, and while you're going through them, you can't understand why it's happening to you. But after you go through it and you get back and you look at it and you say, oh, now I understand why I needed that lesson. Have you ever happened to you? Raise your hand. Has it ever happened to you that I couldn't understand it then, but after I got through it, then I saw that was preparing me for bigger and better things. That as you go through the challenges of life and you look at it and embrace whatever comes to you, don't run from it. Step toward it. Don't try and duck it like most people do. See, most people want it easy. See, easy come, easy what? Easy go. See, but when you go at what you're going to deal with and you deal with the difficulties of it, when you handle those hard things close at hand, making those hard decisions right now that you don't want to make, learning those things that you don't like to do, but you know that in order for you to get where you want to go, this is one of the hoops that you have to flip through. And I'm saying to you, whatever you got to do it, because if you don't, life is going to whoop you until you surrender and say, okay, all right. I cooperate. Okay, I learned. Okay. They had to wear me out a long time. So if it's hard, then do it hard. Now, how do you hang in there during the hard, difficult times? Les, you must have faith. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe in your abilities. You've got to believe in your service, your company, your ideas, unquestionably. You've got to have faith And that faith gives you patience. That it's not going to happen as quickly as you want it to happen. A lot of things are going to happen that will catch you off guard. And so therefore you've got to deal with and handle it as it comes. And not only that, but that faith and patience drives you into action. You've got to keep moving and keep plugging away. I can see people coming out talking to a guy out there watering and fertilizing the ground that's not showing anything. Hey, what you doing? You've been out here a long time, man. And the conversation in the neighborhood is, you growing a Chinese bamboo tree, is that right? Yeah, that's right. Well, even Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder can see ain't nothing showing. You know that's how people are gonna do you? So how long you been working on this? How long have you been working on your dreams? Good. And you have nothing to show. This is all you got to show. People are gonna do that to you. And some people, ladies and gentlemen, they stop. Because they don't see instant results. It doesn't happen quickly. They stop. Oh, no. You got to keep on watering your dream. And when it began to happen, they stopped laughing. They said, look, whoa, look here. Look how, hey, man, you know, I know you can do it. Look here, you got a job here? See, during those hard times, we didn't know how you're going to make payroll during those times when you failed and things didn't work out. They were nowhere to be found. But you know what I discovered? When you're working at your dream, somebody said the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. Oh, it's sweet to you. It's good to you. Why? See, when it's hard and there's a struggle, see, what you become in the process is more important than the dream. That's far more important. The kind of person you become, the character that you build, the courage that you develop, the faith that you're manifesting. Oh, it's something that you get up in the morning, you look yourself in the mirror, you're a different kind of person. You walk with a different kind of spirit. And people know that you know what life is, that you have embraced life. You knew it was hard, but you did it hard. Now that takes us to the next one. If it's hard, why do people do it? You ask people who do things. Why do they go it? People who climb mountains just for the sake of it. Nobody paying them to do it, just do it. Somebody said, I'm gonna run around the world. He said, well, why would somebody want to do that? I'm gonna swim the Atlantic Channel. Why? Why do people do that? I wondered, why would a Nelson Mandela give up 26 years of his life? Why do people do that? Here's what I discovered in high school. High school, I decided I wanted to go out for football. Never forget this. And I discovered why people do things. You know why, ladies and gentlemen? Even though it's hard, it's worth it. It's worth it. See, one day we had Coach Alkin Hepburn had this plaque down there and this wood on the floor, on the ground. He said, Brown, come over here. I had my suit on. I said, yes, sir. He said, I'm gonna have old Larry Littles down there, old big Larry. Yes, sir. Big, fat, sorry Larry. Yes, sir. Brown, I want you to get down bull neck. Yes, sir. He said, I want you to run at Larry. I want you to put your helmet right in his pit, right up in his chest, and knock him off that board. You hear me, Brown? You can do that. Yes, sir. Can you do that? Yes, sir. I say, hubba, hubba. I said, hubba, hubba. He said, Brown, I want you to knock him off. You're gonna make the team. I know you can get him. All right, we'll get him. I'm sorry, yeah. Knees knocking and everything. I said, yes, sir. And he went down to Larry. Larry Littles, who played 12 years for the Miami Dolphins, all pro for 12 years. This is a bad, big dude. 250 pounds, strength, agile, and all muscle. He said, Larry, he said, man, you know Brown down there. He's down there talking about your mom and everything. He talking about how fat and sorry you are. And how he's gonna knock you off this board. Larry now spitting fire and growling and foaming at the mouth. And I'm looking at Larry saying, oh, hubba, hubba. He said, look at that fool down there growling. He told me he's gonna scare you, that you're gonna leave. Are you gonna leave? No, coach, I ain't gonna leave. Go down there and knock him out the park. Boy, coach got back, he winked at me. Go get him, Brown. I went hard. I ran into Larry with my helmet. Larry said, boom. I don't know where I landed. When they woke me up, I said, can y'all take this helmet off me for a minute? I said, y'all got any more positions out here? They said, like where? I said, don't y'all need an announcer? I said, bro, where you going? I was crying. They said, man, some girls over there. I said, I don't care, man, I'm hurt. I said, that fool almost killed me, man. He said, bro, you quit, man. I said, yeah. I said, what? I said, it ain't worth it, man. No, it ain't worth it. Y'all go ahead. Y'all crazy. I'll be your announcer, man. I was calling the game. I was up there in the booth. Call good games, too. Because the pain wasn't worth it to me. And I'm saying to you, you know why people do what they do? The people who go after their stuff, what makes it worth it? It's got to be your passion. You got to love it, ladies and gentlemen. You got to love it. It's got to be what you are supposed to do. You want to sing, and even though they want to invite you to Carnegie Hall, you're going to sing to anybody that listen to you, including singing to yourself. I used to talk to my plants when nobody else would listen to me. You got to write, even if no one published your book, write, because that was given to you to do. You do what it is you're supposed to. You're supposed to build something. You're supposed to create something. I don't know how to do it. Learn. Do whatever is required. Just go out there. It's possible you can get what you want. It's necessary. If you want it, you got to go into action. You got to be willing to experiment. You got to be willing to fail and to succeed. You got to be willing to form and develop new relationships. It's you. It's on you. You got to make that happen. Nobody's going to bring it to you on a silver platter and say, here's your dream manifested. No, it's hard. Yes, it's hard. It's difficult. Yes, right. And it's worth it. People ask, hey man, you know these kids, man, it's rough dealing with them. That's right. That's right. You think peer pressure happened overnight? We went through peer pressure. I remember as a kid, some guys said, hey Les, me and another fellow named Willie Lower, we were going home. Hey man, we're going down to Goulds, man, and knock off a grocery store. I said, look here, I don't want no part of that. I'll see y'all later. Say, y'all chicken. I said, that's all right, you say whatever you want. Low star. I'm not chicken, man, don't call me chicken. Then why don't you come? We didn't even ask you to come into place, man. All you do is just drive the car, that's all. I don't know how to drive that good. Well, we're trying to get Les to come. He's chicken. Hey, I'm not driving nothing, all right? Willie, don't care about what they say, man. Leave him alone. You want to go do it? You find somebody else to drive, or you drive yourself. Come on, Willie, man. Pull him, he stop. I ain't chicken. All I got to do is drive? Yeah. I said, Willie, that sounds simple, man. Don't go, man. He went. And the next day we read the newspaper where when they robbed the store, when they came out running to a car, the merchant, the man who owned the store, came out just shooting wildly, and he hit the driver in the head. So peer pressure didn't just start in the 90s or the 80s. It's difficult, it's challenging for kids right now. And it's going to take some easy, simple methods to help bring them out of this madness, this insanity? No. Is it hard? Yes. Let's look at what we've been doing. What has worked? What has not worked? Let's look at where we want to go. What is it that we want to produce? What is it that we want to create for our young people? And as we think about that, start experimenting with different methods and techniques to create and to produce that. And begin to believe that it's possible through our commitment, through our vision, through our determination, our relentlessness. Because of our belief, it's possible that we can reduce the teenage homicide rate, the teenage pregnancy rate, the dropout rate, that it's possible, looking at what kind of world are they going to be in. As we look at the global economy, that as we begin to use our collective will and genius and resources, it's possible that we can create an educational system that not only will test their minds with information and facts and figures, but will teach them how to think and be creative. And what does it mean to be a human being and to value human life? And how do you make relationships work? How do you bounce back from adversity? It's possible that we can give them a curriculum that will give their lives a sense of purpose and direction and meaning, and teach them how to begin to know and operate on a higher level of being, where they become assets to our society rather than liabilities. What if we leave here with that kind of consciousness that it's possible, as opposed to saying we have to write this generation off, that it's possible that we were born for such a time as this and that, that maybe Someone here has the idea or the method or some plan of action or an approach that can resolve many of the problems that we're facing with young people today. Whatever we have to do to save our children, it's worth it.